Hi everybody, welcome to Keto Cooking. My name is Lauren Getman.
I'm Jason Getman.
And we are here to help you with your Super Bowl temptations.
Yep.
We entitled this video Super Bowl Rescue because we want to help rescue you from those temptations and give you some really delicious options that are going to leave you satisfied and looking forward to going to that big party at your friend's house. You can bring along some options, or if you're hosting, have these options available to you so you are not tempted by all those carb-loaded deliciousness. So let's see, what do we have? We're going to tell you what we have, and then we're going to show you how to make it.
All right, so we have keto pigs in a blanket.
Delicious.
We have keto pulled pork and keto queso. We combined the two here, and in the end ended up with keto nachos.
Oh, one of our favorite dishes. Of course, using pork rind. So if you want to know how to get this deliciousness happening in your kitchen, keep on watching.
Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna get the pork ready to cook it ahead of time. So what we're gonna do is, well, first take off any rings or anything like that, because that's icky. But what I'm gonna do is we're gonna use a basa butt or a pork shoulder, and it takes a long time to cook and break down. We want to get it to where it's pull apart, super tender, and that just takes a long time. So what I'm gonna do is we have an electric pressure cooker. We're gonna use, if you have one of those, use it. If not, you can just use a slow cooker, just the same. It'll just take a little bit longer. So you're probably looking at something like 6 hours or so, depending on the size of the roast, if you're using a slow cooker. In our pressure cooker, it's probably gonna be about an hour, hour and a half, something like that. But in either case, if you cut it into like 1 or 2 inch cubes, it's actually gonna cook a lot faster. And then when we go to actually pull it apart and shred it, it'll shred apart that much faster as well. So that's what we're gonna do now. So we're gonna pan down. My good looking camera lady back there is gonna show my knife skills here. You want basically the longest knife you have that doesn't have serrations, so no teeth. If you only have serrated knives, get the longest one you have with the most amount of teeth. You want really, really small teeth, not really, really big ones. So you don't want to rip up the meat, you just want to slice it up. So we're just gonna slice it up like this. You don't have to be real precise. We're just cutting it down so it'll cook faster. This has nothing to do with the way it's gonna look for the final presentation. It's just about making it cook faster. So, get it done quick without being dangerous. Don't cut yourself. So we're just looking for something like that, about like that size. Drop it in the pot, that's where it's gonna go. You don't have to be real particular. I know I said 1 or 2 inch cubes. Don't get your ruler out. You're spending too much time on that if you're really concerned at this point as to the size of these cubes. Again, just trying to make it go quick. So drop those in. The other thing is that might be a little odd here is we're not really gonna season it at this point. We're gonna season it at the end. Once we pull it apart, that's when we'll season it. Because right now, if we season it, we're only gonna season the outside of this cube. Whereas once we pull it apart, when we season it, every single bite will be seasoned, and it'll taste that much better because we waited. So we'll probably season a little, put a little bit of salt on it right now, but that's about it, not much else. All right, and last piece, and then throw it in the cooker for about an hour and a half for a pressure cooker. Again, about 5 or 6 hours on low if you're using a slow cooker. Check it. Basically, you're just gonna cook it until you can take 2 forks and pull it easily apart, every piece. That's all you want.
All right, so next up in our Super Bowl Rescue segment video, we are going to be making an awesome, really keto-friendly dish that you all are probably familiar with, pigs in a blanket. Very excited about this.
Super good.
We've made these quite a few times and they are so good. Really great to go ahead and throw into your meal prep routine.
They go fast.
They do go fast.
Usually we make a lot.
Yeah, usually we make a ton so that we have some extra, some leftovers, because they make such a great quick on the go. Just throw them in a little paper towel, heat them up for maybe 10-20 seconds,
Good
and
for lunches.
you're good to go. Yeah, exactly. So we're going to be using a dough recipe that my sister created. If you don't follow Rachel D over on Facebook, or you can go follow her on racheld.com at her website. But she calls this Stupid Easy Pizza dough. And the reason it's Stupid Easy Pizza is it first came about, we were trying to find a really easy way to make pizza crust. I'm sure a lot of you who've been doing keto for any amount of time have heard about fathead dough.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about fathead dough?
I hate fathead dough. It's not allowed in my house anymore unless it's pre-made. It comes out great, but making it is such a pain. I hate it.
Now, my mom will tell you that she has found like a way to, like, the little steps that you do. She's found a way to make it not so painful, but we don't have time for that. Like, this is stupid easy. That's why it's called Stupid Easy. So thank you, Rachel D, for your Stupid Easy dough recipe. We make bagels. We make little bread rounds that you can toast. We've made
waffles. Did we do them in the waffle
maker?
No.
Oh,
it doesn't make a waffle, but we put it in.
We put it in the waffle maker, and it makes it really crispy. Like, this dough recipe is so versatile. So today we're using it for pigs in a blanket. You can see I've got all my ingredients. So we've got our Lit'l Smokies, all beef right here. We've got almond flour, mozzarella cheese. You can shred your own. We don't have time for that. I'm sorry. We buy ours at Costco. I know there's a starch that goes on it to keep it from sticking. Yes, we're aware. Totally fine with us. We're okay with that. We've got eggs, garlic, salt, a little drizzle of olive oil, and some baking powder. Yep. So we're going to go ahead and start by making the dough. So the first thing I actually like to do is crack the eggs. So we'll go ahead and get those in the bowl. And then I have a special way that I measure out my mozzarella cheese because I've done it so many times that I don't even need a measuring cup. Oh, I do need a measuring cup for the almond flour. If you could get me a 1 cup measuring cup, please. I had to think about that. So I'll kind of talk about the recipe as we go, but I'm doing a quadruple batch. So you can do, it's 1 egg to 1 cup mozzarella to half a cup of almond flour. That is your base. So I'm doing 4 eggs to 4 cups of mozzarella to 2 cups of almond flour, okay?
And we'll put the recipes for everything in the...
It's all gonna be in the description.
All down in the description.
Yep. So we're gonna go ahead and take, so the way I measure out my mozzarella cheese is I just take a big handful. I've realized that 1 kind of generous handful is 1 cup. So I don't even measure anymore because I've done it so many times.
You don't have to be real exact.
And you don't have to be real exact. It's not an exact science. If you kind of want to get a feel for it, so that's 3.
And guys, make it yourself. DIY,
DIY, cook it yourself.
Cook it yourself. Find a way, you can modify it. Focus on how it's made, and you can swap out different ingredients. You may have an almond flour allergy.
Or you don't like garlic, or else. I mean.
And you know what? It's okay sometimes if your recipes don't turn out great, and you can learn from it. You know, change it next time.
Yep, exactly.
So I got you a half a cup scoop. Sorry.
That's okay.
So you'll need 2 of those because it's 1 cup.
Right. Well, I'll make 4 because I'm doing 2 cups.
Oh, I'm sorry. You'll need 4.
I'm making more work for me. I see how it is around here. I'm just sitting there looking pretty. Mama's doing all the work. So I've got 2 cups of almond flour in here. Would you grab me a fork?
Yes.
So now I'm going to go ahead and just mix this all together, and then I add kind of my flavorings. You can flavor this however you want. A lot of times if I'm making pizza, I will go ahead and do definitely lots of garlic, and then Italian seasonings to kind of give it that Italian flavor. But for pigs in a blanket, I don't really think it needs the Italian seasonings, but if you want that, go ahead and
go for it. It won't hurt.
Yeah, it won't hurt. It makes it super, super tasty. I love doing the garlic and Italian seasonings for like my bagels when I'm making sandwiches because everything just tastes so delicious.
Maybe you have like a keto barbecue rub.
Ooh.
That you can put in there. We've never tried
That's interesting.
But this is an example of where you can modify it. So what's your favorite seasoning or
dill or dried parsley or tarragon? If you just want a little extra flavor kick, by all means add that in. This recipe is so versatile. So I'm just gonna take this is just a teaspoon, a heaping amount. I'm probably gonna do like 2 of these. And we just use
We love garlic.
We do love garlic, and so I just take however much looks good to me. That's kind of how we cook. And then before I keep on mixing, I am going to go ahead and do a drizzle of olive oil. I don't know how much. Probably a tablespoon, maybe a little more.
This will vary a little bit depending on where you are and the climate and.
Well, and the reason I do the olive oil is just to give it a little bit more moisture, so that it helps everything stick together, especially when we're forming something. It really does help.
So if you're in a really dry climate, or if your home is really dry for that season or something, you might need a little bit more than us. So the idea is for it to be, the final dough should be kind of tacky.
Right.
If it's dry and crumbly, you add a little bit more olive oil.
And then I'm gonna add in about a tablespoon of baking powder. I'm at the end of my can, as you can see. What you want is a tablespoon. I might be a little short, but that's all I got. So that's what we're doing. So a tablespoon of baking powder. That is important because you want them to have a little fluff. If you want them less fluffy, don't add as much. If you want them, I wouldn't add more than a tablespoon. I don't really think it needs. They come out nice and fluffy with.
Yeah, and if you add more than a tablespoon, I don't know how much return.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to waste
so it's not going to get all that much more fluffy than.
So you can see that my dough. You can still see the mozzarella cheese. Notice we did not melt anything. Yeah. Like the fathead dough. This is important. And you don't have to melt anything. There was
no angry words shouted. There was no.
You guys, he really does not like fathead dough. If you like fathead dough and you have no problem making it, more power to you. Well done. Good CIY there. So we're just mixing this all together. So this is all nice and combined, and that's it. So if you're making bagels, if you're making a pizza, you would just kind of place this on your parchment. Parchment paper is the best way. Yeah. And you would just kind of form it into your pizza. I would pre-bake it a little bit and then add your toppings, but we're going to go ahead and form this around some Lit'l Smokies. So are you going to help me with this?
I suppose.
Yeah, roll up your sleeves. So I just take like a good amount, you can always add more, and just start to kind of press it around. And then if you could even lay out your Lit'l Smokies on the parchment paper and then just mold the dough on top of it. You don't have to have it go all the way around. So totally whatever you find works for you. It doesn't stick to the hot dog very well. So you kind of got to it's not going to look all that pretty, but they sure do taste delicious. Oh, I forgot to add salt. I'll do that before I do the next one. We always add a little bit of salt in there. There we go. Well, add your salt. Add your salt before. They'll still taste great, but they do taste a little bit better with the salt. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and just grab some more. And what's great about this is if you have a little leftover dough, say you make all your Lit'l Smokies, you have some leftover dough, go ahead and throw them down onto some parchment paper, like make little sandwich rounds, make some bagels if you have a bagel pan.
You could do almost like a little biscuit round.
Yep.
So it don't have to be big.
Yep. Now you're making yours much bigger. I don't think it needs that much dough. That's a little too much.
I stand corrected. You asked for my help.
Well,
I want you to know that.
So here we are. We're just going to go ahead and continue.
Finish wrapping these
making these. Yep, and we'll show you the finished product.
Pigs into bed.
But it's so easy. I mean, that didn't take me any time at all. Y'all saw me put it all together. And we'll show you the finished product in just a little bit. All right, so we've got our pigs in a blanket all ready. I put it on parchment paper and we're just going to stick it in the oven at 375. All right, so here is the finished product. Ooh. Oh my gosh! Now, as you can see, I wonder who made these over here.
Some of those are a little monstrous.
Oh my gosh! So I think we did go a little bit overboard today on the dough mixture. It was totally okay.
We went overboard. Somebody
behind the camera went a little overboard, but they're still going to be delicious, and you can eat them by themselves. Dip them in ranch. Dip them in
marinara sauce.
Do you want to dip pigs in a blanket in marinara? Is that
whatever you want? I mean,
but
any keto sauce you like.
And they keep really well in the fridge. We baked them at 375 for about 20 to 25 minutes. Your oven is going to vary from ours, so just keep an eye on them. But basically what you're looking for is the browning on top. Yeah. They should be firm like this and brown on top. Yeah. So that's it. And they're so delicious.
Okay, next on the Super Bowl rescue lineup is queso. All right, and so right now I have about a 1/4 pound of thick cut bacon. I cut into little pieces. It's browning over here in the pan. What I'm about to do, once it finishes browning, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a close up here. I'm gonna put in paprika, onion powder, cumin, garlic, black pepper. This is chopped up jalapeno, and this is chopped up chipotle chili with adobo sauce. Yeah. So you can get those in a can. They're about $1 a can, sometimes less. They'll be in the Hispanic food section or international food section, depending on your store. But just one of those. We like it a little bit spicy, so you can omit either of the chilies, both of them, whatever you want to do. The adobo sauce and the chipotle is definitely going to add more than spice, so if you want to cut back some of the spice but not all of it, I would omit the jalapeno and just add the chipotle chili. Now, for cheese, some of you might not like this, and that's okay, but I'm going to use Velveeta. You don't have to. You can use just regular shredded cheddar cheese or Colby Jack cheese. Colby Jack would probably be better because it melts a little bit better, but you're going to want a lot of it. You're probably going to start with 2 cups, and then you're going to have to add a little bit more depending on how thick or thin you want it to finish. And from there, you would also add a little bit of heavy cream and like some chicken stock or beef stock to kind of thin it out a little bit. So those are your options. So what I'm going to do is, when this bacon is finished browning, I'm just going to add all of this into the pan. I'm going to melt down the Velveeta, stir it up, and then add a little bit of beef stock to kind of thin it out, and it'll be ready to go. All right, so in goes our flavorings here. We're going to back up because it's going to sizzle pretty good. Turn around. Add in our spices and pepper. There we go. There we go. I would not keep your face very close to this at this point because of all the peppers and the spices. It will not feel good on your nostrils. And we're going to add our cheese. And this is going to just kind of slowly melt. So we're going to give it some time to melt. We're going to keep our heat on low and just let it slowly melt down. We'll keep moving everything around so nothing burns, nothing sticks to the bottom of the pan. So just give it a few minutes, and it's going to start to look more and more like queso in a minute. Again, we'll add some beef stock to thin it out. The amount of beef stock you use will vary depending on how thick it ends up, but that will be what we use to thin it out. Alright, so now it's all melted down and mixed in. If it's coming out too thick for you, add a little bit more chicken or beef stock, whatever you have on hand. You could also use a little bit of heavy cream too. Either will work out great, but the way we did it turned out really good. So I'm going to try it now for the first time. It might need a little of this, a little of that, or something. We're going to see. So I'm going to use just pork rind because keto. And really good.
Okay, so we've got our pulled pork. It is ready. We cooked it for 90 minutes on high pressure in our electric pressure cooker, and it is tender and it smells so good. So we are going to pull it with 2 forks, and then we're going to season it just like Jason said earlier. It's important to season it afterwards so all the meat gets seasoned, not just the outsides. So all we're going to do is just start to pull. You want to get in on this and look at all that deliciousness. I'm going to get these chunks up here. Oh, that's a big piece. Let's set that aside. All right, so we've got it all pulled evenly. Now we're going to season it with our favorite store-bought taco seasoning. You can absolutely make your own taco seasoning, totally up to you, or you can season it with whatever you prefer. It doesn't have to be taco seasoning. This is just easy and something quick to grab. So I'm just gonna sprinkle it and then mix it all through. Almost like toss it like a salad to get it all mixed. It smells so good. There you have it. Pulled pork, ready for all sorts of various dishes.
All right, y'all.
Hi, so we're back with all of our finished products. We have pigs in a blanket. Our pro tip for these is to use less dough. There is a hot dog in there, a Lit'l Smokie, and it's delicious.
But it's gonna taste good.
But you gotta find it. So yeah, these are absolutely delicious. What we did with the pulled pork is we took the pulled pork over some pork rinds with the queso on top and made keto nachos.
And now
super
I'm
delicious.
hungry.
And now we're hungry. So this is going to be a really short close up to this video.
Let's wrap this up so we can eat.
That's right.
Let's go.
And so we've also got some extra queso here, perfect for dipping your pork rinds in. Guacamole would be awesome to add to your Super Bowl rescue lineup. Pork rinds and guacamole are absolutely delicious together. So these are just a couple of options to get you started so you can stay on track at those games and with all those temptations around you. So we know you can do it, and I hope this helps. Did you have anything you wanted to say?
Just another option for the pulled pork is low carb tortillas. You can make a taco with, or you can use the same dough we use for the pigs in a blanket, make bread rounds with, and you can have a little pulled pork sandwich.
Super delicious. Really yep. So we will see you in the next video, and that is it for our Super Bowl rescue. Bye, guys.
Bye.